Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Everybody. Welcome to our first podcast ever. This is going to be a weekly thing on Thursdays. We're going to do this every Thursday, so you subscribe to it on iTunes, download it on SoundCloud. However you listen to podcasts, you can listen to this new podcast. We're going to kind of figure this thing out as we go, so bear with us, but we do have a plan, and here's what the plan is. Each week I'm going to talk sports for a little bit, make some NFL picks for about 20 minutes. Then I will chat with an interesting guest, somebody that I really like and that I think you guys will really like. Then after that, I'm going to answer the junk mail question of the week because we stopped doing junk mail since the show moved to Wednesdays, and I think a lot of people miss it. So we're going to answer one of your questions, and then I'm going to say goodbye. And then after that, you will go get a snack and then go about your day. That's how this is going to go. I'm going to be joined, as you can already tell, by some of my producers each week. Today, I'm joined by producer Garrett.
Hey.
Hey, is that going to be your catchphrase? Yeah. It's a big moment.
My catchphrase is hey.
What's the next one? Producer Dave.
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, variation on Gary. That's been a little better.
I want to change mine.
He went up to you so hard. Hey. Hey-yo. This is exciting.
Good stuff.
Producer Garrett and producer Dave. First name, when you join the show, legally you have to change it to producer, and your last name becomes whatever your first name was before.
Understood.
Very exciting. Later in the show, I'm going to be joined by someone you have heard of, CNN's Rachel Nichols. If you guys want to skip ahead to that, and gee, I sure can't figure out why you would, that'll be about 20 minutes in. But first, we're going to talk about some stuff. I had a young woman, by the name of Sarah Jenkins. She's a student in some school in Toronto, whose name I forget again, but whatever.
It's just Canada, don't worry.
Yeah, sure. And also I learned it's Toronto. You're not supposed to say Toronto, it's Toronto. So anyway, she's a student from university in Toronto.
So fancy.
She's a sports media major, and so she had to, for school, pick somebody to shadow and then write about it, I guess, like a book report. I wrote book reports in college, right?
Yeah,
That's what you do.
yeah.
And so she picked me, which was a very poor choice on her part, but she came and hung out for 2 days. I don't know if she learned anything, but I think we had a good time with her.
Yeah.
You guys were all super nice to her.
Yeah. It was very cool that she came down here and chatted
Yeah.
with you.
It was pretty cool that she knew more things than I did for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like when we were like, go learn After Effects. She's like, yeah, I already know how to do that.
I know.
Cool, because you go to school for this. That's right. I went to school for PR and bartended for a few years. What do I know? I can't teach you anything.
Yeah. She made all of us look pretty bad.
Yeah.
All of our
I
skills.
agree.
Yeah. She definitely, though, to be clear, did not do any work
None.
here for garbage time because that would be illegal.
Yeah, she
So
definitely didn't
she
help.
No
didn't
work
steal
at all.
any American jobs. Make America great again, hashtag. We'll move on. So now we've come to the part of the show that we're going to call Fade That Pick.
Fade that pick. These picks are being made by someone with absolutely zero gambling expertise, so if you choose to bet actual money on these picks, you're stupid and don't care about money because these picks are all probably going to be wrong. So definitely fade these picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked.
Cool.
So yeah, for all you non-degenerates out there, fading a pick means choosing the opposite of what I pick. And we figured since there's so many people that give their NFL picks every week and they claim to be experts, I'm going to do it too. Not an expert though, to be clear, so these picks are wrong. But I'm going to give them anyway. We have a picks league here with the massive garbage time staff of about 7
Huge.
or 8 people.
Big league.
Yeah, lots of us here. And each week we pick games against the spread, so I'm going to use the podcast to decide who I'm taking in a few games. But like I said, encouraging you to fade these picks because I'm just winging it. What's our first game, guys?
All right, our first up, we have Chicago at Detroit. The line is Detroit -3. Big story out of this one is how Matthew Stafford will respond after getting benched last week. Turns out during halftime of last week's loss to Arizona, head coach Jim Caldwell told Stafford, if you throw one more pick, I'm taking you out of the game. And then Stafford threw one more pick, and Caldwell took him out of the game. Kept his word. What do you think, Katie? Good coaching move or bad coaching move doing what he did?
I don't know. As an NFL coach myself,
Yeah, I know. You have
I
a lot of
can
experience.
certainly speak to what's a good coaching and bad coaching move.
But talking to him like that, it struck me as weird.
It is weird because it's not a high school person. He's not a high school player. It's not even a college player. This was the interesting thing whenever I had conversations with Trevor Price, who played football in the NFL, and he would say, coaching. Was that a dog?
It's a
Is there a
dog.
There
dog
was
in
a
this
dog.
office?
We
I'm
heard a
supposed
dog,
to
barking
focus
dog.
with a barking dog here? Somebody get me that dog.
It sounded like a little dog, though. I don't think he'd like
Not
it.
a dog I'd be
Not your
into.
type of dog.
No, it's not a good
At
dog.
this point, I'll take any dog. I just need a dog. Back to sports. So Trevor used to always say the being a college coach is probably easier than being a professional coach, mainly because it's tough with a pro coach when you're getting paid by the same team, by the same people. It's like we're both being paid. You're not the boss of me. Like I make more than you do, and it's this weird dynamic. As where in college they can say, "You're a kid. I'm your coach. Do what I say." So that weird tangent was basically to say that if I were Matthew Stafford, I'd be like, no. You should be allowed to throw picks in a game. People make mistakes. People have bad games. But when you pull him out, and there was like a lot of time left in the game, was there not?
There
when
was,
they benched
yeah.
him?
Yeah.
And they didn't bench him for like a backup that, it wasn't a McCown. It was Dan Orlovsky, which
killer.
is who? Like, who was that?
Agreed.
That's just such a confidence killer. If you want him to come back and be good next game, I wouldn't bench him, me personally.
Yeah, and to put stakes on something that you're about to go try and do in front of
Yeah.
millions and millions of people, it's like,
Like if you said, Katie, if you trip walking out of this room, your show's canceled, I'm gonna trip.
Yeah.
Just 'cause,
Right.
like now it's in my head going, don't
Yeah.
trip, don't trip, don't
yeah,
trip.
yeah.
Agreed.
I'm gonna fall on my face. I do that pretty much anyway.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that's a strange coaching move.
I
Weird
agree.
move.
I thought it was weird.
But I
move,
also
too.
heard that like Stafford was like, I was caught off guard when they benched me,
Yeah.
which directly conflicts the other information because he pretty much told you he was going to do it if you did it, and then you did it, and so he did it.
Yeah.
Right.
So how were you caught off guard?
I'm
Exactly.
gonna punch you in the face if you do that again. You do it again. Why
Why'd
would
you
you
punch
punch me?
me?
Yeah, didn't see that coming. It's like I just told you. it was
Yeah,
happening.
like spoiler alert, I'm going to bench you.
Yeah.
All right, let's make our picks. Garrett, what are you thinking about this game? What
Here's
do
a
you
stat for you, Katie.
got? Are you just reading this off a piece of paper?
No, I prepped. I know these things, and this is an important stat that I know.
Hey,
Yeah.
producer Garrett.
Here's a stat that I just off the top of my head. The Bears are 2-7 on turf in their last 9 games. They're going to be playing on turf. Also, Alshon Jeffrey practiced, but we're not sure if he's going to play this
Yeah,
week.
what? Where's he at?
No.
I don't know.
They're being so vague about his injury.
I
Like
know.
every
Is
week
it
it's like maybe this
ankle?
week, maybe this week, maybe this
Is it
week.
an ankle? I don't know. You've got a laptop. You can look it
Yeah.
up.
But anyways, a 3-point spread for this. I'm not a gambler either, but anytime the 0-5 Lions, like if they're not favored by, if the spread is less than 10, I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. So I'm taking the Bears in this.
Okay.
I did a little research. It's a hamstring for Alshon Jeffrey.
Oh, thank you so
So I
much.
found that out.
Thank you. I don't know sports.
I also have some stats on this.
I bet you do. Are they in front of you on a piece
Bears
of paper?
are, they're on the laptop. Bears are 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games in Detroit. This game is in Detroit. Also, in the last 5 meetings of these teams, Detroit's 4-1. I think that Stafford actually is going to come out in this one to prove his head coach wrong.
I
and
honestly thought you were just going to say guns blazing, and I didn't want to have
would
to tell you.
not
You thought
say
about
that.
it for a second. You
was not-
thought about it for a second.
There might have been a millisecond. I was not going to say guns blazing. I think Stafford comes out to prove the doubters wrong, and he's still better than Jay Cutler.
Don't.
Let's be honest.
No, I am being honest. I
Okay.
don't think he is.
Well,
I think
okay.
Jay Cutler gets more flack because of how much money he gets paid. He's certainly not worth it, and he's certainly not great. And he gets sacked a lot. Like, holy crap. But, like, that's not his fault. I don't think. It's Matthew Stafford bothers me.
That's fine. Well,
He's
I'm
aging backwards. Is anyone ever going to talk about that? Every time I see him, he looks 4 years younger. He's Benjamin Buttoning.
What?
Very much so. You've never noticed
That's
this?
interesting.
I have not noticed it.
Next time you see him, you're going to be like, whoa, wait. He looks more like a baby now than he did last time.
Wow.
He's slowly turning into a baby.
Is it weight gain or weight loss in the face?
I think
What
it's
do
a
we
little
it
bit
is?
of weight in the face, and then I
Okay.
also just think he has Benjamin
Oh.
Buttonitis.
That is a hot take.
That's a thing.
It's a real take. Fade that take.
All right, I'm taking Detroit -3. Katie, where are you taking?
I am 1,000% taking Chicago because I don't understand at all why Detroit's favorite in this game. That makes zero sense to me, and by zero I mean that's how many wins they have this season. They're not good, and Chicago's not good either. Like, this is going to be a bad game, but I think that Chicago's going to win. I'm taking Chicago +3.
Yeah.
Fade that pick.
I'm trusting them to take this
0
game.
wins.
Yeah.
Okay, Dave, what's next?
Next up, we have Arizona at Pittsburgh. Arizona -3 is the line on this one. Big story here out of Pittsburgh is that Steelers defensive end Cameron Hayward was fined by the league for honoring his late father by putting Ironhead on his eye black, which is his father's nickname. His father passed away, and he wanted to honor him in that way. The league said it violates the NFL's uniform policy. He was reportedly fined $5,787. This coming off of the NFL denying D'Angelo Williams' request to wear pink all season to honor his late mother who passed away from cancer. How do you feel about this whole thing, Katie?
I mean, I don't think there's any other way to feel about it except that, like, people died of cancer and other people want to use their platform to raise awareness, which the NFL claims it's into, and then they just can't. I don't understand. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't understand, if I'm honest. But why does this uniform policy matter so much? Like, I saw the other day, I think it was last week, someone got fined, it may have been Matthew Baby Stafford, for wearing the wrong colored cleats or something. And, like, who cares? Who cares? And I remember Brandon Marshall one year would wear lime green cleats, I believe it was, maybe in socks, because that's the color for mental health awareness.
Yeah.
And whenever they would fine him, he would match the fine and donate it
That's awesome.
to a cause. I think he matched it. The numbers of that might be wrong. But, like, anytime an athlete wants to use their platform to raise awareness for something other than the fact that they did something shitty to a woman or a child or another human being, like, why wouldn't you let them do that? And why does the NFL have these rules that sometimes they enforce and other times they don't know their own rules and they don't know how to enforce them? Like, why is the uniform policy more important than knowing that you can't bat a ball at the back of an end zone? Like,
Yeah.
why are we really clear on this rule, but that rule's like, eh? And also, why are we pretending that, you know, not to bring it there, but, like, balls should be inflated to a certain amount, but, then when we find out that the refs were using 2 different gauges and they never actually wrote down what the ball's measured at. Like, if you're going to enforce your rules so strictly that you fine a guy $5,787 for honoring his father who passed away from cancer, if you're going to fine him for that, then also be good at your other rules. Know your other rules and enforce those, because this makes you look stupid and awful. Like, this is why you have a bad reputation, because it's not okay to honor someone who died from cancer who meant a lot to you. But it is okay for you to blow a call at the end of a game that ends up being the only reason that the Lions are 0-5.
Yeah.
But, like, you know what I mean? Know your rules. If you're going to enforce them all. Don't be hard on the stuff that's easy to be hard. Like, oh, you wore the wrong eye black. Oh, did it affect the outcome of the game? Did it matter?
Yeah.
What's the point of this rule? I get it if you're writing, like, fuck you on your eye black. That's not okay, and I get that. But, like, it doesn't say, it says Ironhead. What the problem is, you know?
I know. No, I totally agree.
That's going to be my new catchphrase.
Cool, what the problem
I've
is.
been saying it a lot
Hashtag
lately.
that, guys.
What the problem,
problem
is,
is.
guys.
I like that.
Totally
Do
agree.
you?
I really like that.
Yeah? Well, you can't have it. Yours is, hey!
I know. Hashtag hey. It's gonna
Mine's
catch on.
hashtag hey yo.
All right, I guess now that we've talked about nothing football related, let's make a pick. Garrett, where are you at on this one?
Well, here's another stat off the top of my head. The Pitt is 7-1-2 against the spread in the last 10 games.
Ooh,
And Martavis Bryant is back after his 4-game
Oh.
suspension, so that could be good for them.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and this is a weird one for
4
me. 'cause-
games for smoking weed. Another rule we're really tough on.
I know. Don't wear pink when you're smoking weed in your car.
Oh,
in
great
Pittsburgh.
callback, Garrett.
Yeah, thanks.
That was good.
As a Steelers fan, I'm used to these kind of games.
I forget that all the time.
Yeah, where we lose to teams that we should beat and beat teams that we should lose to. And I think this is a team that we probably on paper should lose to, and I think we're going to do really well and win. It's just a weird gut thing I've got,
All right.
and that's where I am.
So you're going to pick Pittsburgh
Picking Pittsburgh.
+3.
+3.
Dave.
Um,
Producer Dave.
Oh, thank you for the formality.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a stat. Pitt's won 4 of the last 5 matchups between these two teams, but Ben Roethlisberger was, playing when in those matchups, and he actually practiced Wednesday through some passes, but he's still a long shot to play in this one, even though he's trying to make it happen. He's still out with that MCL injury.
Vic didn't look that bad last week, though. He didn't look great, but he didn't look that bad.
Yeah, I don't think he can make the easy throws.
Yeah. He had a long pass. I'm like, wow, look at you.
Yeah.
Still got it.
And then he tried to do it again. It was like, don't do it again.
I know. Then
Don't do it again.
It's like running out, and we'll get this first down. It's
Yeah.
like, oh boy.
It's like when you do one thing right, and you're like, I can do that. And
Yeah.
you do it again, you're like, nope, it was just that one time I did that. Okay,
Yeah.
I won't do that again. Sorry, everyone.
I'm taking Arizona -3 here. What about you, Katie?
Okay. Did you say why? You just
Yeah,
made it
because
tough
I
to
honestly
step
feel
over.
like Arizona is really good.
They're doing well.
And,
Like old people are doing
right.
well.
It's like Chris Johnson.
Old
everyone thought
dude.
he was done. Number 2 running back in the league.
Weird.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Old man.
People thought he was done. Leads the league in touchdown catches. Carson Palmer leads the league in
Is he
touchdown
old?
throws, tied with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, he's been here forever. Those guys, they're just making it happen. Their offense is great. Their defense is great as well. And I just don't think Pittsburgh with Vic is going to be able to make it happen there. So Cardinals -3.
All right. The thing about old people, though, is like they go to bed early, and so we're in week 6 now, right, of the season?
Yeah.
I think that Arizona's going to start to get tired. They went out to a nice early dinner. They're going to watch, they're right now at about like the watching Matlock part of the night, and then they're going to start to go to sleep soon. So I'm going to say, this is a good analogy. First is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Second, you're looking at me like, where is she going with this? She's not going anywhere. I'm taking Pittsburgh +3.
Fade that pick.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever, guys. It's
Whatever,
my
it's
fucking
cool.
podcast.
I just have a hot take. I think old people go to bed late.
Ooh.
You're just factually wrong.
Yeah. Where's that?
You
coming
worked with Regis too.
Just
You
true.
That's
know
true.
that man was out of here at 6 when the show was over. Went straight to dinner at Valbella. It's the only place he eats.
Yeah.
Straight to dinner at Valbella. Straight home to bed.
Sounds like a pretty good life.
Yeah, it is a pretty
Not
good
bad.
life because he's Regis fucking Philbin. I can say that, right?
Of course.
Amazing. Next game. Which is it?
Oh, boy.
A game. Oh boy, here it comes. Here it comes, people.
Oh,
Get
boy.
ready. New England -7.5 at Indy. Big story here.
What is it?
First
Does
meeting.
it have the word gate on the
It
end
does.
of it?
First meeting between these two teams since Deflategate. Of course, Brady and all the Pats are saying, no, we don't have any extra motivation here, just like any other game. I don't buy that at all. Katie, what do you think? Are they seeing this as a revenge game or?
I think this whole
Why?
season is revenge season.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady looks so good in his underwear, but also on the
I know
field.
it's awkward.
He looks so good naked, but also on the field right now. He looks so good, like
Yeah.
so good.
Okay.
With ya.
I'm uncomfortable.
No, the Pats are doing so well.
They look amazing.
And of course they're going out angry, and of course they have something to prove, and of course somebody will come up with something that we did this season. Sorry, they did this season. I hate when people do that. Somebody's going to come up with something that the Patriots did this season that was the reason they won, instead of it just being that Bill Belichick runs that team so meticulously and perfectly. Like when that bat thing happened that I was just talking about out the back of the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember who it was. Somebody who used to play for the Patriots tweeted like, yeah, we learned that rule. I know it inside and out. Like we were taught these rules in a way that he's just so good at managing and teaching and like making sure everybody knows. Like it's just an amazing human
Yeah,
being.
he has his team practice cheating how to hit the ball out of the back of the end zone.
I'm gonna choose to ignore what you just said just now because I like you as a person and I imagine you like being gainfully employed. So we'll move on from what you just said.
Okay.
But you are in timeout for 30 seconds. There's a clock there. I'm going to speak exclusively to producer Garrett. Garrett,
Yes.
very nice today. Let's make a pick on this one. Go ahead.
Okay.
Don't feel as though you can't pick against the Patriots.
Oh,
though
no.
learn from Dave because he just was kind of fired just now.
I mean, if I were to bet money, I would bet on the Patriots. Andrew Luck might not even play. The Patriots might be facing Matt Hasselbeck, and they
Oh
are
my
very
God.
angry. This to me feels like when someone's getting revenge, and it's like, yeah, okay, they got it, and then it's going to continue, and everyone's like, oh shit, like they should stop now. Like this is getting out of hand. I would take New England minus 7.5 like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. Is 30 seconds been up? I want to.
Can I go?
Yeah,
Can
I
go?
guess so.
All right.
What do you think? Just don't make any references to them cheating.
Okay.
No, you know what? Do whatever you want.
I won't. But all right, feels obvious to everyone. A stat I have here: Pats are 17-2-1 against the spread in their last 20 games in Indy. The only thing.
Oh, Nate Solder.
Nate Solder
I forgot.
is out for the year with a torn bicep. Despite the Solder injury, I'm with producer Garrett on this one, and I'm guessing you, Katie. They are gonna just destroy them and continue to run up the score. So I'll take Pats minus 7.5 all day. Where are you
I
at?
can't believe that we still don't know if Andrew Luck is gonna, because didn't they cut their other backup or whoever they had signed in case Luck was gonna be out for a while? I feel like everything I saw at the beginning of this week was like Andrew Luck's gonna play. So I don't know, but even if he does, he's clearly in pain.
True.
Hasselbeck, though, last week, what a guy, playing through being sick. That was just a really cool story.
Yeah.
Like, lots of gumption with that guy.
A lot of gumption.
His
Great backup.
gumption was high.
Full of gumption.
I saw somebody tweet something like at the press conference afterwards, you could tell every time he swallowed, it was one of those like he was fighting back vomiting.
Yeah.
Pretty great. Pretty nice visual there. 7.5. Garrett, to kind of go off what you said before, sometimes the Patriots do this thing where, like, if it's a game they absolutely should destroy, it's closer than it should be. I know the Patriots will win this game. I know that. Whatever. Everybody knows that. 7.5. I don't know.
Whoa.
I don't know.
There's doubt here.
I know, but since we're fading the pick anyway, and no one's putting money on what I say, I'm going to take the Patriots minus 7.5.
Oh, you gotta fade that pick.
So now you want me to give my lock of the week, don't you? Isn't
Yeah.
that what you want?
That's what I want. I
Okay.
think that's what the people want.
I didn't. I don't know. I think my lock of the week is going to be Baltimore, minus 2.5. They're playing at San Francisco. San Francisco is really bad. Like, they don't look like a football team, really, to be honest.
No.
And I think Baltimore is going to easily beat them. So that's my lock of the week.
Definitely fade that pick.
We're at the really good part. A few days ago, I got to hang out with and chat with Rachel Nichols, which is awesome because I feel like I know her, but I don't. And I got to know her, and I was so nervous because I was interviewing a person who's really good at interviewing people, and I'm bad at it. And so that was interesting for me. But we talked about her career, talked about Greg Hardy a little bit, and then the best part comes towards the end, where we talk about whether or not she thinks a hot dog is a sandwich, and she laughs. She laughs until she cries, which was a very cool moment for me to make somebody I look up to laugh until they cry. Normally, I just make them cry, but I learned a lot from her, and I found this super interesting, and hopefully you will too. So take a listen. Rachel Nichols.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Okay, first of all,
Go ahead.
well, I don't think people realize we haven't met in person before.
I know. I have this weird thing with a lot of women that I admire in sports media that people are like, you're friends with Rachel Nichols, right? And I'm like, well, so yes,
Yes.
but also like have never met her in my life.
Person, right?
Yeah.
So there's that.
Which makes this very
Well, if you
stressful.
talk to someone, right? I mean, it's kind of like, are we like the internet dating where you're like, is that person really real? Or we've talked over online.
I may have been getting catfished.
Are we really real? How is this going on?
You could have showed up and been like
right.
a dude. And I'd be like, wow, all this
she looks
time.
different.
How'd you get that check mark next to your
Exactly.
name?
What happened?
But
There
thank you for being here.
And I made it through security, which
Yeah.
is not easy.
No.
Your guy downstairs, he's
Oh, please don't refer to him
hardcore.
as my guy.
No, he's your
the
guy.
worst.
He's your guy.
He's
so
the worst.
He's like, who are you here to see? So I told him,
Oh,
and
they
he
have no
said,
idea.
what are you doing? I was like, are you the producer? Like, what are we getting into here?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? I don't know. You tell me, what am I doing? So then he asked for a picture ID, and we're in Manhattan. I didn't drive here. I took a taxi,
valid
right?
point.
Because, they have those yellow things. where
Yeah.
I'm on. So I was like, oh, I don't have my driver's license with me, but here's my work ID, which is like laminated. I mean, it's official. There's
Yeah.
a photo. And he was like, yeah, no.
He wasn't into it.
No.
Really?
He's like, this doesn't have a number, so I can't write it down. So there was that. Then when I finally got past him with some mustache disguises and stuff and went upstairs. You guys are 601. Am I giving this away, or are people going to like kind of storm?
Oh, yeah, just give them the suite
Garbage
number. Do you want to
time?
give them my home phone number as well? Or
Later.
Okay, perfect.
Right, so you guys are 601 and you get off the elevator and it says 601 diplomatic offices. Do you know that?
We were not supposed to tell anybody
Okay.
that. No, I'm
So
just kidding. I
the
have
whole
no
thing-
idea what 601 diplomatic offices is.
Right. So, and then now I'm here and it says garbage time. So I think this whole podcast is a scam.
Yeah,
is really
this
what
isn't
I'm
real.
getting to.
We're actually on candid camera. No, just kidding.
Right. But this is your first one, so congratulations.
ever.
Boom.
And I'm gonna interview someone who interviews for a living. So this was like a really poor choice
Right.
for making me look talented.
Well, I'm going to take notes.
Yeah, you're gonna be
There's
like,
gonna
Katie,
be a
so
heavy evaluation. There's all that
Open-ended
stuff.
questions are not your strong suit. Talk about yourself less. These are going to be all your notes.
No
I'm just
talk
pre-
about questions.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, I'll
Right from the
never
beginning.
say talk
Boom.
about. I hate when people say.
See, there you
Tell
go.
me a little bit about.
Exactly.
Like no.
No, there you go.
It should end in a question mark, or I'm not
Exactly.
answering it.
Exactly.
But I'm, a petulant child.
Yes.
Let's, I guess, start at the beginning, and we got to talk about your career. So you went to Northwestern.
I did.
Then you went to Fort Lauderdale Sun Sentinel, right? It was the
Yes.
first place you were.
So I was really cold. I really liked school. I love Northwestern.
Yeah.
I will rep Northwestern. I thought it was a great school, great journalism school, fun, great Chicago I love. But I was not prepared
It's
for that
cold.
winter. I mean, I grew up in the Northeast-ish. I grew up around Washington, D.C.
Right.
So it's like the bottom of the Northeast,
Right.
maybe, right? Mid-Atlantic. And
That was good.
And I thought, we have winter, right? Boston,
Yep.
you guys have winter,
Snows.
right? Dark. Just gets
Ah.
dark in the winter in Chicago,
Yeah.
and just
Cold and miserable.
yeah. So I was like, I basically drew a line in the middle of the country, and I said, I'm going to apply for jobs down.
that.
So I went to work in Fort Lauderdale, where I actually interned when I was in college. I loved it. It was awesome. I would have stayed there longer, except I grew up around Washington, D.C. I thought that the Washington Post was kind of like the Bible of journalism and sports journalism and everything. I read All the President's Men 1,600 times. Mike Wilbon, Tony Kornheiser, Christine Brennan were at the Washington Post. It was such a big deal.
Yeah.
And I'd been an intern there in college as well, and they called me up about a year and a half after I'd been in Florida, and I just would never say no to that in my whole life.
And
it was
you've said
hugely
such.
formative.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've said so many things about like what that did for you.
Yeah, it was, crazy. It's just an amazing time to be at that place.
Yeah.
And the people that went through there at that time and the environment that it was, the sports editor, George Solomon, they just had a huge, crazy profile on him on the
Yeah,
big lead.
I
And
saw
there's,
that.
you can read about his influence and all the people who actually went through him and got their start because of him. And I'm one of those people. And taught you how to be a good person, taught you how to be a good journalist, just taught you how to do things the right way. Jeannie McManus, who was his number 2, having a woman as the deputy sports editor of his sports section at that time was not usual, and sort of spoke to where they put, people with good ideas, that's all that mattered, and people who were smart, that's all that mattered. And then, the people around me working with me, Christine Brennan, who was the first woman at that newspaper to cover the NFL team. Oh my God, let's put a woman in that position. That's smart, and she's so smart. To be with Mike Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser, and my little cubicle, because trust me, I was lucky to have a cubicle being 22 years old and starting to
I
work
don't
there.
have a cubicle here.
Right, see? Well, you do in the diplomatic side of the office.
Yeah, I do.
Don't
I do.
pretend.
I'm not supposed to say, but yeah.
My little cubicle was right in between Wilbon and Kornheiser.
Oh wow.
Their offices. So they would scream all day at each other. This was long before PTI.
Doesn't sound
and
like
I would
them.
be like, can you guys just 2 minutes? I would just love to, right? But so when they got the deal to do PTI, all of us were like, right, okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
that's
perfect.
right.
So that's
Well,
the show you've been
right,
doing
right. We're
in
like,
this
you're,
office.
so you're just
right?
going to come tape it here, right?
Yeah.
We were very surprised they were getting a studio to do PTI because we were
Because
like,
you've been doing it.
Right, you've been doing it. So that whole time was really cool and amazing and led to everything else.
When did you choose to go the sports route? Was that in college?
No, earlier than that. Even.
Yeah?
I was always wanted to do sports.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's all sorts of big reasons that mean something to me now that I've actually done it. At the beginning, let's not pretend it was more
Yeah.
than it's more fun than covering the news.
You think it's going to be a lot easier.
Right, or just a way you want to spend your day,
Yeah.
right? I would like to spend my day talking about football. I do not want to spend it talking about burning buildings and crime.
Who knew
and-
they'd overlap so
much.
here now knowing what we know.
Right. And then later, as I got to do it more, look, as a journalist, which I like being, sports happens right in front of you, right? So
Yeah.
if you are covering the burning building, you go to the site where the fire happened and you have to interview everyone and ask what happened at the big fire, but you weren't there. You don't know how it started. You're just sort of trying to retell and put together that story. For me, knowing, and that's totally valid form of journalism, obviously, but for me, knowing that the fire is going to break out at 1 o'clock on a Sunday and getting to be there when it starts and watching everything that happens, and then everything that happens in sports, right? It's a great story. It's great,
Yeah.
you know, there's a beginning, middle, and end, and the heroes and villains and whatever, and, you know, it's a great
It lends
tale
itself.
that plays itself as a narrative, and so that's pretty cool, too, if you like being a writer or being a storyteller.
Yeah. So you just knew
Yeah,
that's what you wanted to do.
I did.
That's amazing.
I like football.
Football is
Yeah,
great.
and basketball, so these are
Basketball, also good.
good things. Yeah,
I'm breaking ground here.
I know.
Hockey, also great.
Also great. I was the hockey writer at the Washington Post. 3 years. Beat
I
writer.
knew that. Capitals,
There
right?
you go.
Yeah. That's fun.
There you go.
I'll move it
I was
forward.
going to say, we're thrilling the
So,
world with this podcast.
So, okay, Washington Post, very formative.
Right. Great.
Great, amazing things.
ESPN.
Meeting
we can
people.
Fast forward
ESPN.
through
Yeah,
all
we
this
don't have to
stuff.
like go
This-
through all of
yeah.
them. I'm just trying to figure out like, so you started very much being a reporter, and now you're still obviously a reporter and a journalist, but you're starting to be able to inject your opinion into things.
For the last few years, I wouldn't even say starting anymore,
Yeah.
since I took the job that I have now. The job that, one of the reasons I made the switch, God, and by now 2.5 years ago, over to Turner, is that one of the things they offered me the ability to do was to be more of an analyst than a straight reporter.
Right.
And to, you know, be an anchor there for their, you know, when we do sports specials, did a sports show there for a while. And you know, when I come on other people's shows, to give my analysis on what's going on in the news in the world of sports in a way that I couldn't in my former job.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You are CNN's.
wrong.
Yeah, it's good to. You're probably right that I'm wrong.
I'm kidding.
You're CNN's lone sports like
We
the
have-
sports anchor is you.
Right. Well, I have awesome colleagues that I work with who all have different jobs, but in terms of being
Like
on-
some news breaks and Anderson
Yes.
Cooper wants to talk about it and it's sports related. They call you.
Right.
That's-
Last night that was me. Even
That's
though we're not supposed
amazing.
to say last night.
Oh, whoops, we
He
specifically-
said don't say last night, but we don't. Nobody listening or watching knows which last night I'm talking about.
You're on Anderson Cooper all the time.
All the time. So it could have been last night.
But so that's, I mean, that
People can download this podcast like a month from now.
we don't even know if this is going to air anywhere.
That's
I don't even
true.
know if we have a platform for it yet.
Right.
I just wanted to talk to you.
Right.
So I lured
This
you
is
here under
all-
the guise of a show. These people are homeless people I paid to sit here.
Right. Exactly.
You guys are doing great. You look good with the
Nice
headphones
job.
on. You
nice
look official.
Job.
No, but I'm like, it's amazing to me, and it gets underplayed, and maybe it's good that it gets underplayed because it's not, you know, we don't have to draw attention to it. But like, CNN has one sports person, and it's a woman.
Again, we have other sports people,
I
but
know,
this
but,
my,
like,
on the
you're
role
the
you are
big- you're
talking
the
about,
top
they
one.
want me to do that thing, and that's fantastic. And that is
Amazing.
something that is very cool and was very attractive to me when I took this job.
So do you? Which is it even a? Which do you like better? Reporting, straight reporting, or being able to state your opinion? I mean, they both have their own.
I just think
value.
I've gotten to a point where I have more things to say,
Yeah.
and I have the perspective and the years under my belt of watching and seeing how things work, that when I say them, I feel really good about
Yeah.
those opinions being informed.
Right, which
So-
is important.
Right.
Believe it or
Well,
not.
Let's not,
sports TV, I don't
let's
wanna-
not go crazy.
Did you feel an itch when you were reporting that, like, oh, I really wish I could say
Yeah.
my feelings on this, but I can't?
I think the longer you go doing it, and it's all important, right? I mean, they're all part of each other, and I think in a best case scenario, the best commentators on sports TV or any TV are people who have a background in really hardcore journalism, because you want to be informed about what you're talking about. You want to have done the work and the legwork, and to have talked to people, and to know how to ask good questions, and to know how to look for information.
Yeah.
And then you can form the best opinion, and when you're making your argument, you are able to do it in a way that brings in all of those other things.
And you don't come off like you're making things up for controversy. You
Well.
truly feel that way, unless you want to. I would also argue that the best people in TV come from a background of hardcore journalism or YouTube. That's what I just
bartending.
to edit that statement,
Right.
So we make sure we
Yeah,
make
totally.
everybody here feel included. Here's a weird question,
Yes.
but it'll probably be weird for them. But this is just a thing I've always wanted to ask you, as I've been doing this for like a year or 2 years.
This is quite
now.
a build-up.
I know.
It's a weird question. You've been wanting to ask it for a couple years.
paper or
This is
plastic?
a lot of pressure on this question.
No, so like this is more for me. This
Okay.
is me needing to like I look up to you, obviously. I want to make that weird.
I'm only 5'4", so
I look down on you.
okay, there we go.
No, but how much do you feel or have you felt throughout your career, and it may have changed from beginning to now, but do you feel or struggle with a responsibility to women?
I don't struggle. I mean, I think it's, and again, Christine Brennan is a great mentor, had been a great mentor for me in that, because from the minute I walked into the Washington Post, she basically looked at me and said, I want to help you succeed, in a way that was so crazy generous, and I see her do it to this day with all kinds of young women, that is what I learned. And that is what I want to do for other people and hope that I do. And I don't do it as well as she does, frankly, because she's amazing. But we're better when there are more of us around.
It's true.
I think that in general, a diversity of opinion. I mean, I've talked about this before. I talked about this with Bill Simmons. I hate the word diversity because it's one of those like stupid HR words.
Yep.
But
It means old wooden ship, right? That diversity?
right. But what it means is that if you have people in a room who come from different places and have different experiences and think differently, you will have a better conversation.
Right.
And that's just, you don't have to be
common sense.
Right. If we all grew up in one place with one set of experiences and try to talk, we're all just going to be an echo chamber. And if you have people from all around who have all different things, so we're all better when there are more people in the conversation. And then I'm better off when there are more people, or at least a few people who in the conversation who I might be able to relate to in a different way than some of the other people I relate to.
Yeah.
I mean, you want as much of everything as you can have, because it makes the stew better.
Right. My worry is that sometimes, like, if there's an issue that is related to women, that there's so few of us, I guess, in comparison to how many men
Right.
are in sports media,
Right.
that if one makes a mistake or a misstep or an error, that there's this huge, like, women suck.
Yeah.
And like, so
Yeah.
that's what I have this
But you get
worry
that-
that I'm gonna misstep a little, and all of a sudden this like shit storm of like, this is why women shouldn't be in sports media. So there's just this weight.
I'm going to fix
to
that for you.
everything.
You ready?
Can you? Go ahead.
I can.
Should I lay on the couch like
I
you're
know.
my
All right, here.
therapist?
When you do everything right,
Yeah.
and you haven't screwed up,
Yeah.
do you hear that still sometimes?
Yeah.
Women suck. They shouldn't be in sports.
Yep.
Okay, so does it matter?
No.
There you go.
So fuck them.
Well, I'm just saying, it does. If whether you do it right or wrong
Yeah.
produces the same result, you don't have to worry about doing it wrong. I mean, you should strive to be right.
So I'm just gonna
sitting
go
here
be wrong
selling
now.
you to libel and all that.
Screw research.
But don't be
No, you're right.
afraid
You're
of,
right.
right?
Well, so this kind of lends
no one
itself
should
to-
live afraid, Katie.
I'm constantly at spiders,
Right.
bridges, heights. I'm afraid of
You're afraid of heights?
I fear everything.
What are you actually afraid of? What do you think is
fear
going to happen?
itself. I don't know what I think is going to happen, but if I'm on a tall building and I get too close to the edge, I'd start to feel like I have to hold on to something.
Right.
Like a strong gust of wind.
So you're going to see that movie with the
one?
guy walking?
So yes. But it's all the preview for that movie reminds me of, remember when the previews for the movie Phone Booth came out? And
Yeah.
everyone's like, is this whole movie gonna take
place
place
in
in
a
a phone booth?
Didn't it,
Or
though?
yes.
Right.
Or
I didn't see it.
The movie where they get left out in the middle of the ocean and the boat leaves them.
Right, the shark
Like,
thing.
is this whole movie gonna take place in the middle of the ocean?
Right.
It's like, is this whole movie gonna be on a tightrope between, like, I'll watch it, but like, where are we going with that plot? Other than to the other tower. Hopefully.
I don't want to ruin the end.
Spoiler
I don't want to
alert.
ruin the end for you.
I don't know if he makes it.
The shark thing in the middle of the ocean. What was that movie called? People are not going to know.
Open Water.
Right.
By the way,
Okay.
before you even make it, which is going to be a smart point, Open Water 2, the boat was there. They just
Electric
couldn't get
Boogaloo.
back onto the boat. They all
Open
went
Water
swimming.
2, Electric Boogaloo. You're too young for that reference,
I think
right?
so. I can
Damn
do it with you, though.
Right? Okay.
Can you imagine
People are
basing
going
a
to write
movie-
in about Electric Boogaloo
Right
to tell
in. Now
Katie.
you're really dating yourself.
We will write in on Twitter.
They're going to phone into the
They don't-
station. Let us know their thoughts. on the telephone lines.
How else are
blowing
they
up.
going to communicate with you? You're
don't
right.
know.
Oh, no, wait. I am going to give out your home number later. So they are going to phone in.
So exciting.
Right, okay. Somebody please use the tweeter or the Instaface, as Bill Belichick says.
What did he call it? Snapface.
Snapface
Yes. What are you on, your
yesterday.
Snapface?
Now he's just trolling us.
I
He knows
love
what
him
it is,
so
but he's
much.
totally trolling us. But yes, please use the Instaface or the Twitter to explain to Katie with the Electric Boogaloo reference about using like Open Water 2 Electric Boogaloo. Okay, we're done. Open Water, though, based on an actual incident that happened. And I
Right.
know this because I went to Australia years and years ago to cover the Olympics. And every place I went, people would be like, oh, you're American? You know, 2 Americans like got eaten by sharks.
Good conversation starter.
Wait. Isn't that funny? Seriously.
Just a hard no.
Everywhere I
Is
went.
probably the best answer to that.
They were
No.
so excited.
So weird.
So the movie came out and I was like, oh, I know that story.
Was Open Water 2 based on a real story? Electric Boogaloo? Because they went out in a boat, jumped off the boat to go swimming. Someone forgot to drop the ladder, so they were all trying to get back on the boat. It was
Right.
right there, and then I think they all die because they can't get back. Like, can you imagine?
I mean, as a movie or just in life?
First of all, in life. Second of all, like, that movie's got to be half an hour long. What are we
Like, what
talking
else
about in the
happens?
ocean?
Right.
Like, so whose fucking fault was this?
Exactly.
And then we all just die of
Right.
shame?
Right.
I would just let myself drown at
Right.
that. Like, bye guys, I do not want to bicker for the last hour of my life.
You're like the guy from Titanic, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I gotta get
Just
out of here.
gonna- I'm just going.
I'm off the piece of wood. You're
We're
too
all
annoying.
gonna die
Yeah, right.
here, so I'm not
So
even
I'm
gonna fight
done.
to survive.
There you
It's
go.
a great way to look at life.
Yeah.
That's
good.
That's my outlook on life. If it looks like it's going poorly, just bail.
Just bail.
Just fucking, just
Boom.
bail.
Okay.
Should I ask you more questions, or do you want to talk more about Open Water 2 in theaters the last
I
10
want to talk
years
about
ago?
this straw, by the way.
Has it gotten soggy for
It
you
has
yet?
a little bit, and like I've got a little lip gloss on the end too,
Yeah.
so it really does
The
look
straw's
like the
made out of
Diet Coke
paper.
commercial.
It's a paper straw.
Right?
Someone thought, it sounds like the name of like a band.
But this is really fancy, and you have a monitor and like a whole set here for
I don't know where we-
podcast.
I don't know where we got that from.
I think
These
things are
bad-
happening for you, Nolan.
These are bad questions. Well, so let's just, this is an insight into my brain. You've been called, quote.
Wait a minute, that sentence could end
It just ends right
so
there.
many ways.
I know.
Are you getting this
called,
from-
quote, the country's most impactful and prominent female sports journalist, end quote.
Which is very kind.
How do you think you got there, Katie? That's the fucking throw.
Keep going. What else you got?
All right, let's look through other cards. No, here's a weird
That's
one
a nice
too.
thing to be called. I appreciate it.
It's yeah, I didn't call you that.
Right.
I actually disagree strongly.
Exactly. What's your hot take?
No, you're the best ever. That's my hot take. Here's a weird thing for me too, as a woman. A part of this interview mostly is going to be me getting
So you
advice
are a
from
woman.
you.
See, now the catfish goes the other way, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a chick.
Right.
Do you ever feel like, coming up in I know you had some female mentors that you had that you worked with, but, predominantly in this industry we're surrounded by, and not just, our colleagues, but like men are our producers and our, other producers with words in front, coordinating producers
Yes,
and whatever.
executive, right?
Do you ever feel like a bit of a chip on your shoulder when it comes to accepting help? Or is that a me thing? Because there's such a
I'm
responsibility
learning so
of,
much
like,
about you in
I
this
know,
interview.
it's awful. I'm actually the most fucked up brain you'll ever have a conversation with. No, but I've only been doing this for a year or two now, and there's such like this ongoing, women know sports. We have to always be women know sports all the time instead
Right.
of just like men don't ever have to prove they know it.
No.
But there are times where, no one makes a TV show by themselves. You know that. You need
do.
people to help you.
They do.
But sometimes
I mean, there's some kid in their basement who's making a TV show by themselves.
And we're
but
all watching.
I know.
But sometimes I wrestle with this feeling of, it would be easier, and a lot of other talent would probably be like, sure, just let him write that for you, and you'll.
Right.
But there's this part of me that feels like it's letting people and women down if I don't, do it myself.
Right.
And did you ever have that? I mean, I know you probably don't now.
I like writing my own stuff because I feel like I have something to say.
Yeah.
And getting the opportunity to say it is not something I take for granted. So that's hard fought. So I want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. But I also am aware that the internet exists. So the ability, like the need to know who was the starting pitcher for the Mets in 1971.
Who was it, Rachel?
Right, exactly.
Who
or,
was
you know,
it? Who was it?
In the third game of the season, I'm aware that.
Wow,
right?
CNN sports anchor doesn't even know who the pitcher was.
in the third game of the season in 1971. Right, why are we even here?
Yeah.
Right, there's an internet. And even before that, there were other places to look, media guides and places to look things up. So that sort of thing of like, oh, you're in sports? Well, let me quiz you. I mean, that happens at bars sometimes, right?
All the time.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you're at a friend's party and a friend of a friend wants to say, oh, you're in sports? Well, who was that? I'm like, are you, what?
Why do I have
confusing
to
me with
prove
Google? Like,
my-
what is the,
Yeah.
what's the problem there? But in terms of general awareness and having an opinion and being educated about the stuff that we do every single day, I feel good about doing that stuff because I want to.
So you've never felt like when a producer hands you a thing like we wrote this segment, like for my show, it's all the opinion stuff I write because it would be super obvious if it wasn't my opinion. It'd be really uncomfortable if I was like, I don't actually understand what's the deal with women,
Right?
Because you know my opinions have to be mine or else they feel really awkward. But
Coming
like
up next on Garbage Time, paper straws, for or against?
staunchly against, personally.
Yeah.
But letting other people do things for me. Sometimes I just have this feeling that is like, I don't know. It's a me thing. We've determined it's a me thing. Next great question. Here we go. My phone's blowing up. How about yours?
My phone. Wait, can we show off my phone charger?
Yeah.
I got this at the airport. It's blue.
Oh.
And with a mismatched bottom.
Green.
It's nice.
Someone
Sexy.
told me yesterday that you're not supposed to plug an iPhone into a non-Apple charger.
Was that person working for Apple?
That's what I said. I'm like, Apple obviously wants you to think that.
Right.
But apparently, no. This person
Over there.
heard it
The homeless
from
guy.
like...
But he's homeless.
Shit, you're absolutely right. You're so good at journalism. You collect facts like nobody's
Exactly.
business. Did sports
Yes.
sports journalism ever get to
No.
you so much that you
4
considered
times.
not doing sports? Ever?
No.
Never.
No. I mean, I'm interested in other things.
Yeah.
So I am excited actually to work now at a place that does other things because, and the Washington Post gave me a taste of this as well when I worked for them. And I've loved everywhere I've worked. Let's just get that out there before someone.
You really have.
infers-
You've
I really
never said
have.
a
I've
bad
been-
word about ESPN.
No.
Though people are like, hey,
I know.
how much did ESPN suck? You're
Right.
like, I loved it.
I really did.
and I respect that. But later,
Right.
tell me how much it sucked.
I really liked it. But I will say it is fun to also work at a place now that does other things because I'm interested in the world.
Yeah.
So it is cool to occasionally get to do other things that are outside of sports. And Turner is the same way. You know, basketball season is going to start, and I love doing the stuff for TNT, but Turner they also do stuff for TBS, and I also get to do
that's
stuff
great.
for, right? And they
Have
own
like a network of networks.
networks, right?
Yeah.
They own, they own the Cartoon Network, which, by the way, is the
Why-
only network on the Turner system I have not been on. I have been
why
on
not?
CNN,
Okay.
CNN International, TNT, TBS, True TV,
Whoa.
NBA TV,
Whoa.
but I have not been on the Cartoon Network.
I've been on Fox Sports 1. So,
My point is,
how do we get you
that's
on
a
Cartoon
hole
Network?
in. Can I swear on this podcast?
You sure fucking can.
All right, that's a hole in my fucking game, right?
Yeah.
Cartoon Network.
So what are we
What
doing
are we gonna
about?
do? I have no idea.
What's our 5-year plan for
right
that?
for the Cartoon Network? We need to
Let's
come up with something
draw
because I
you.
need a cartoon.
We
right?
have a producer here, Garrett, who's very good at cartoons. We'll
Okay.
get him to draw you.
right.
And then we'll make, like one of his French girls.
Right.
And then we'll make you a cartoon.
What would I be doing in this cartoon?
I don't know, girl stuff.
Right, pillow fights.
Pillow fights and martinis.
Yeah.
And paper straws.
Paper straws.
Oh my
Exactly.
God.
Right. This is a future project.
Yeah,
but
we'll work on that.
But no, in general,
Yeah.
I like to get back to your question.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was because it was awful.
Right. I like sports. It's fun. It goes back to why I wanted to do this when I was
Yeah.
a
Goes back to that
child.
question I already asked you.
Right,
I know.
which
I know.
which is that this is more fun. It's fun.
You have asked some important people some difficult questions.
I have.
Where do you get the courage to do that?
I think, who knows if makes sense or not, but
nothing I've said has made sense yet,
Right,
so that's fine.
Here we go. To me, if you're fair, it's not a difficult question, right?
Yeah.
So I don't ask ambush questions. At least I don't think I do.
Gotcha journalism.
Right. I'm not into that because I think when you do these interviews or even in a press conference, what you hopefully are getting is an answer, right? This is supposed to be a quest for information. So the hope is that you ask a question someone can actually answer, right? That you're not just like grandstanding to make a point.
Right.
I don't bat 1,000 at anything I do, so I'm sure I don't bat 1,000 at this. But my goal when I ask someone a question is to try to ask something that's going to actually get an answer to a question I want to know.
Yeah.
So I start with asking them in a way that is fair and straightforward so that they can answer me. So I think if you're doing that and that's the goal, it's not really scary because you're not trying to put one over on someone.
Yeah.
And I hope and have gotten sort of feedback from some of the athletes I've sat down with that if that's the way you do business and you do that for a long enough time and people know that, then even if it's a difficult subject and they know you're going to ask the hard question, they feel like you're going to handle it in a fair way, so they actually want to talk to you about it even though you're not going to just sort of fawn over them.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
So
you build a relationship and
striving for. And look, it doesn't
you're
always
nailing it if
come off, you know, right? I mean,
Yeah.
look, it's all the goal, right?
Yeah.
And I am not perfect at anything, so
Yeah.
certainly not this, but that's what I want to be doing.
this week there's been like all these stories of you know, women's issues in
Right.
sports media. Jessica
Right.
Mendoza being
Right.
called what was it, Tits McGee?
Yeah.
Great. Good
Which the
joke.
most disturbing thing about that is that means that the guy didn't fucking get Anchorman.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't get Anchorman, that's kind of a crime in and of itself because
Yes.
Anchorman is so good.
He didn't understand that
And
joke
to
wasn't
not
about
understand
Yeah.
Anchorman is really the most revealing and disturbing thing about that set of tweets. Right?
She just called you stupid. In a lot better words, but you're an idiot, is what she just said.
I mean, not.
I feel like your anger
the
translator,
people
like you say something like, yeah, what? You're dumb. But
Who
yeah,
doesn't understand Anchorman?
just-
It's awesome.
an idiot is
Right.
what she's saying.
Right.
So yeah, Jessica Mendoza.
Right. Who's a two-time Olympic gold medalist?
And you
so
know
I'm
what?
sure she knows nothing.
Regardless of whether she did a perfect job or an awful job, it's the attacks on her
right.
being a woman that are like, you can be, guess what? As more women get into sports journalism, there's going to be those of us who aren't great.
Yeah.
There's going to be bad ones.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean women are bad.
Isn't that what everyone says about black coaches, right? We'll
Yep.
know that there's equality when a bad black football coach gets rehired for the third time, the way
Yeah.
all these bad white football coaches get rehired
Yeah.
for the third time. Like, that's equality.
Yeah, when a
There's some
bad
truth to
female
that.
sports journalist signs like a $5 million
contract, you'll
and
be
we'll
like, woo, finally.
we made it.
Yes.
The world is better, kind of.
What we've been working for.
At least it's more fair.
That's not going to happen.
No, it won't ever happen. But if it does, share your paycheck with
will.
me. Thank you. I just called you bad.
I was going to say.
Yeah, you're not
No.
bad.
All right.
Anyway,
I'm leaving.
yeah, get out of here.
Yep.
I don't know why you haven't already. Greg Hardy
Yes.
said some
Stuff.
revealing things.
Yeah.
Is what the important part is that it was
Yeah.
revealing. Because people
Yeah.
say, oh, he said he's coming out guns blazing.
Right, he says
Maybe
it's
he
just-
misspoke. And it's
right.
like, sure, maybe.
Right.
But you know what isn't misspeaking is when somebody asks you a question about your domestic violence.
Right.
And you respond with, I'm going to keep it to football. You respond
He
with
didn't even
football
say I'm going to keep it to
things.
football. Well, I mean, there's so many lines that he said that make you think. And the aggregate is part of the issue because everyone picks out one line. Well, this wasn't that bad. It's the whole thing,
Yeah.
obviously, that told you what it's telling. That
Very,
whole
very
conversation
telling.
was telling about how and what he thinks. Somebody served him on a silver platter, as often happens. What have you learned about yourself? And it would have been so, you don't even have to mean it. That's what I always
That's
think
what
about,
I'm like, just
racism
lie.
and sexism and all of that. You don't have to not be racist or sexist. Let's just get to the point. I'm not expecting that much. My expectation, the bar is low.
It's so low.
It's so low.
Bare minimum.
Just let's all pretend.
He spoke for
and
12 minutes.
Operate in a world.
12 minutes. You couldn't pretend to think women were equal.
No. Don't even have to do that. Just say the stuff that you wanted. Like, what did you learn about yourself in the last year? I learned a lot. I learned a lot. You know, look, this isn't the time to get into it, but I learned a lot.
I had a lot of time for reflection.
Time to think and
with
whatever.
my family.
Right.
I'm a
whatever.
dad. I don't fucking anything but what you said.
Right. So
I learned I'm really good at sacking quarterbacks. Did you?
It's more important to be there for my teammates. Look, what is disturbing more than any one individual thing that Greg Hardy said, and this is what I've been talking about on television, and I am psyched that CNN has given me pretty wide berth to talk about it on television, on big shows for them, which is cool, is that I don't expect the NFL to be a representative to be in front of every player's locker, making sure they don't say something stupid.
But there was a PR person there.
Because, well, even like, but here's the thing, you can't, they're all grown-ups, and I do prescribe to that, and we as journalists also complain when the PR people are too much on their shoulder or telling them what to say, and I don't expect grown-ups to have to prevent other grown-ups from being idiots necessarily, but I do think that someone who has supposedly been through the NFL's domestic violence program, whatever that is, should have a more enlightened perspective on people. Forget women, just people. People are not objects. Like, that's just an easy start.
Yeah.
This glass is different from this guy. And if I bang this guy's head against the concrete,
You got excited because she
on
said,
the
bang this
bathroom
guy.
floor.
He went, what?
See, that's the problem.
There it
Someone's
is.
going to take that, right?
That's
that
going to get
I do
clipped.
feel. When you keep asking me about the weight of this responsibility, I don't feel any of the things, the crazy psychological babble that you're talking about. I do feel like everything I said, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to take this out of
I'm
context.
like, oh, this is going to be a gift.
Right, or whatever. But Greg Hardy banged his girlfriend's head against the bathroom floor, bathtub
I
floor,
believe, and I can fact check, but I
Yes.
believe it was in between a toilet.
Right.
That's what I think.
Right.
I think.
So if you throw this glass between the toilet and the bathtub on the hard floor and it shatters, versus if you take someone by the hair and do that to your head, most people would think, well, that's different, right? That's a different thing. If you don't see people, women, men, whoever, as anything more than just an object or something to look at, maybe you stop thinking that that's so different.
Right.
And that's really what we're getting at here with his comments in particular and people saying, oh, why do you care if you think Giselle's hot? You're jealous?
Yeah.
Right?
That,
right?
Yes.
And you're just
First
like,
of all, always yes.
Yes.
I am very jealous of Giselle, and I'm not afraid to admit that.
Right.
I would love to be you and look like you and also have sex with Tom Brady. These are things I like. I'm not afraid to admit I'm jealous, but that's not the root
really
of
what we're
the
talking
issue.
about here.
I don't want Greg Hardy to stand in front of a locker and say he wants to sleep with me. That's not my career goal.
No. So you would hope that the NFL would be making it clear to someone who has been through the program, quote unquote, whatever that is, that people are actually people. That's all. That's again, the bar is so low.
Not asking him to cure cancer.
Right. And so when you have someone who is in that position and who has been the subject of that, and then you see obviously that didn't happen, that's what's disturbing to me, and that's where some of the responsibility back to the league lies. And when Roger Goodell gave a press conference, and that was one of the things that I asked him about, was just, first of all, I just said, hey, here's what he said. What do you think of that? Because I was curious. I mean, I know what I think of it, but maybe he thought differently of it. And again, I'm actually interested. I'm not trying to say
answer.
Right, I want an actual answer, right? I didn't say, isn't that terrible?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to grandstand. I just said, hey, what did you think of that? Because I want to know. Maybe he thinks it's really serious and egregious, or maybe he thinks it's not a big deal. Because Jerry Jones was asked, what do you think of it? And he told Sports Illustrated, I don't think it's a big deal.
Not a big deal.
He said to Sports Illustrated, yeah, Tom Brady went up 100% in my estimation because he now has a hot wife. Because, women are trophy, right? We know this, right?
Yes.
Trophies that signify whether guys are good or not, right? Okay, just checking. I just want to make sure we were on the
Sorry,
same
I
page.
wasn't listening. I was thinking about my boobs.
Right, I understand. Right. So I wanted to know what Roger thought. Roger's response was that he hadn't heard about the comments more than 24 hours later, which again, to me, is a hole in the system, right? Shouldn't you be kind of shouldn't someone be monitoring what Greg Hardy is doing this week? Shouldn't in his first, just in his first media availability back after this, when he is along, one of the most lightning rod poster boy, right? So you'd want that, right? You'd want them to be paying closer attention. So that's one thing. And then He talked about how most of guys in the NFL are good guys for a while, which I agree with, and actually drives me a little crazy when there's this broad brush painted, because I work with a lot of these guys, and they are largely good guys. And the arrest rates for NFL players are lower than the arrest rates for the general population.
Doesn't discount the existence. I love the good ones. They're great.
They're great and do things for charity and all of that stuff. And the good guys, who really are the majority, are pissed at the guys who are giving them a bad name. What he finally at the end got to after that was we hold them to a higher standard. So I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know. I asked him, did you even informally pick up the phone and call and say, hey, guys, we don't want the NFL to be talking about women like this? I don't know if that happened. Jason Garrett apparently said.
I was going to say, I think I just saw this last week when we filmed this, that he apparently said he talked to him. The quote I saw from Jason Garrett, and I only saw one quote, so there's no context, and I don't know if he said other things. The one quote I saw that passed in my Twitter timeline was, we want to be known for our actions, not for our, we want to be distinguished with our actions on the field, not our words or something. I'm not quoting that correctly because it went by like that, but it was the equivalent actions
of that.
on the field was a thing that they said.
My hope is that we can all, if you really want the best NFL, they could be distinguished by both.
Yeah.
Hey, wouldn't that be cool? I love football. I love football.
Me too.
I love basketball. And my hope is that players and the league offices can be up to the standard of our collective investment. People name their kids after their favorite football teams. They put like a little jersey on. Some of the first things they do sometimes, right? Yep. They sit there. It's these incredible bonding moments of teaching your kid about your favorite team, or it's the one thing you connect with your mother on, or your father, or whoever it is, right? I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And we as fans treat it that way. We give them huge parts of our life and money and time and Thanksgiving and holidays, right? We give it to them. And I just want them to be worth it.
Yeah.
Because it's such a good game. So much fun.
And I don't want us to have to, people are like, then stop watching. It's like, no.
No,
I
like
love football.
To watch.
It shouldn't be, I stop watching or you say whatever it should be just don't say the thing you said.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Don't say that thing you said. We all know or have our opinions on what Greg Hardy did, and that is an issue we've talked about, and you can feel a way about him.
Right.
But what he said, you're showing you don't care at all. You know you're just going to skate by on well, so what?
Right.
Maybe I'll get suspended for a few games. Who cares, though? Right. I fucking hate women. They're stupid. They're hot, though. But they are hot.
Right.
Rachel Nichols.
Yes.
It's now... Okay, it's time to really get to know you. I'm about to ask you 10 questions that you must answer no matter what, okay?
Okay.
This
or not
is no matter what, okay?
This is where the diplomatic corps and what you guys really do here comes in, because men with guns will come in, blazing, will come in if I don't answer these questions, right?
No matter what, okay? This is Garbage 10. Fancy graphic.
Dun, 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 dun.
Here we go.
Okay.
Number 1, Rachel Nichols. Mm-hmm. What was your first AOL screen name?
I never was part of AOL.
What the fuck?
I know. But I had a, what was...
MySpace?
No. Instaface?
I
know.
Instaface paper?
Message board. I did some message chat.
What was your
username?
Things.
Oh, I don't even remember. I don't know.
Nothing.
I just remember that they existed. Yeah, I mean, I always do a version of my name. That's so boring, but it's true.
Cool.
I don't do cool.
Like Hugs and Kisses 411 with Z's instead of S's? Because who would do that?
No. I have to remember it, which is my greatest. Can anybody remember all their passwords, or is that just me?
They have apps for it, but then they charge you money.
But then you have to remember the password
to the app.
for the
I know.
which doesn't help you at all. So I just do the closest thing to my name that I might possibly remember.
Okay. Ranch or blue cheese?
Neither.
Okay, this is off to a great start.
I know. Vinegar. I love vinegar-based
Like malt vinegar
stuff.
on your fries?
Ooh, yeah. Come on. That's...
But you don't like cream-based or cheese-based?
No, I do like vinegar salad dressing, vinegar fries, vinegar. I'll put vinegar on pretty much anything.
That's weird.
And that's exciting for the American public to know.
Super weird.
Woo!
That's weird.
There you go.
But if someone gun to your head, not that we have a guy waiting outside to put a gun to your head, but if he did, ranch or blue cheese?
I don't think I've ever tasted ranch dressing.
What? What? Do you like
Maybe.
buffalo wings? Okay, that's
know.
fine.
All
Okay.
right.
You don't think you've ever tasted ranch
I mean, I
dressing?
probably have. I mean, I eat things and that people put in front of me, so I'm sure I have. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, next time you come, we're
I
gonna
know.
eat something.
We'll eat
ranch
something
dressing
with ranch
is
dressing.
is everything.
Okay.
I literally can't even about ranch
Right,
dressing.
okay.
That's how much I love it.
I'm all about the like acidic family.
Yeah, you've made that
Vinegar.
clear with the vinegar.
Right,
Did you have more you
ketchup.
wanted to say? Okay, good. We get to ketchup
Right,
in
the
a minute.
whole thing. Okay, all right.
What about
so what
like
you got?
honey mustard?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Question number 3. We're flying right through these. What's the first
These
concert?
really important things people need to know. I
never went to.
understand why everyone asks me about my career first, and that's flattering.
Yeah.
But I'm always, when I walk through that, going, nobody, they could read this on Wikipedia. This is sort
This
of
is more
falling
fun.
into. Well, they
This
can't
is
get on
much-
Wikipedia, so
yeah.
there you go. Maybe
What-
they can after the
What's
show.
Wikipedia? What's your first concert you ever went to?
Beastie Boys.
Okay.
Good, bad.
That's
dating me?
great.
That's dating me.
No, it isn't.
Well, wait.
That's
Let me back
fantastic.
that up. That's the first concert I ever went to, like as a teenager. Like, whatever.
You don't get to pick like the coolest concert.
No,
you
no,
get
no.
the very
That's like
first
the first.
concert.
That's the first concert I went to, like with my friends or whatever.
Okay,
right?
very first
I was
concert.
brought to a concert when I was like 6 by my mom taking me to a John Denver concert.
Okay.
So that was the first like real concert I went to, and I love John Denver to this day,
Great.
and would fight anyone who would argue with me over that. But then when I started
Argue
to
with her. It'll
go,
be good TV.
go to like, hey, I'm gonna go to a concert.
Yeah.
Beastie Boys. There you go.
Okay. Mine was Britney Spears. So I just kind of own it.
Yeah, there you go.
Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Leonardo. No, Raphael. I don't know. I don't know the real like characters between them. I just felt like, oh, that
Leonardo
was
was
a good
where
one to
you
say.
went with that, so it was
Yeah,
good.
that was one I could remember.
You didn't say
I just had
Donatello, so like you're fine.
I just had the panic moment of what are the Ninja Turtles' names, and I thought, oh, I know Leonardo, so I'm going to say that one.
He's the blue one.
Is he?
Yeah.
There you go.
You still stand by your choice.
I do.
Great. Do you put ketchup?
I'm going to find out that later Leonardo is like a serial axe murderer, and then there will be the like, she said Leonardo.
Oh yeah,
GIF.
this is gonna follow you.
GIF or GIF?
It is GIF. I've heard correctly that it's GIF. I don't care that that's the correct way.
I say GIF.
GIF.
I do too, 'cause
It's
it
just easier
seems
for me.
better.
It's a G, not a J.
I
so
know,
like,
right?
I don't care what
Okay.
you say it is. It's GIF.
Right.
Do you put ketchup all over your fries or on the side of your fries and then dip?
Mostly dip,
Okay.
because you don't want them to get too soggy.
Yeah, I hate putting
Right?
ketchup on them. And also like then you got to maybe eat them with a fork. Like
Right.
how are you getting at it without getting it on
Exactly,
your?
yep.
Good. So you're not a terrorist.
No.
Check. What is your
Again,
guilty?
this is for the diplomatic corps downstairs.
Oh, we actually covered this before we started filming. What's
Yeah.
your guilty pleasure TV show?
Oh, I have so many. I watch so much bad TV because I'm on airplanes all the time.
Mm.
So what I do is I get whatever work and studying for the game out of the way,
Yeah.
and then I try to do that as fast as I can so I can get to my incentive, like my treat after, right?
Yep.
Is get to the litany of TV shows I watch.
Which one will you
So
like
on
hope to watch first? Like, what's the one you love the most?
I like so much stuff. I mean, look, I like Game of Thrones, which
That's not
is
not-
not
that's not
trashy. It's
guilty,
just
yeah.
my favorite thing right
Right.
now, right?
Yep,
You
that's
asked
good.
that was a double-barreled question, Katie Nolan. So that's the answer to that. But yeah, I mean, I like everything. I watch Scandal. I watch Empire. I watch The Flash. I watch The Arrow. You had right?
Stephen
Didn't I
Amell.
see?
He's the best.
Right?
Yeah,
I
he's
was like,
good.
I saw that on the Twitter, and I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
go Katie.
Yeah, he's good.
Right? I mean, I watch everything. I don't watch reality TV though.
Mm.
That's like because I watch everything late. I binge watch and I sort of watch
Right.
it on my iPad on an airplane. I can't like keep up with
There's a lot,
all
and it's
the
exhausting
stuff,
drama.
right? So yeah, so I will watch like a whole season of something, and I'll like that's what I'll do for my first 5 trips in a row, and then I'll move on to the next thing. So there you go.
It makes you probably feel less guilty that you're doing it on your way to do work. I am like, I just worked last night, and then I do this for 7 hours on my couch.
Why
and
are we supposed to feel
don't
guilty
move.
about
Well,
that?
like I should be, interacting
We
with
work
society.
in television. Hey, are you tripping over
I
my
did.
awesome
I kicked
phone
your
cord?
phone, and I felt badly
Again.
about it.
Fancy. Fancy. Look, it's flat too. What's up with that? It's like from the
they call that a
AV
linguini.
club.
It's linguini, so it doesn't get. It's less likely to get knotted. Fuck you all for laughing. It's true.
Right.
They make headphones like that now. They're flat. And they're
look at
called
that.
a linguini cord. Google it.
Boom.
It's weird. I'm the nerdiest person in this room. Do you? I forgot this was on here. Do you floss before you brush your teeth or after you brush your teeth?
Well, who flosses before they brush their teeth? Is
People,
that a thing?
people do.
Is that a thing?
I do. I brush, floss, brush, floss, brush.
You do both?
Yeah.
3 times?
Well,
Do you rinse and repeat when you shampoo?
sometimes depends on how many days it's been since I've showered.
You know that's a scam, right?
Yeah, but if it's been 5 days since I've showered, they're not scamming me out of some shampoo. I already scammed them out of 5 days of shampoo. So doing it twice is probably just being efficient.
know
And
the
to be honest,
Alka-Seltzer
it's
thing
by the
too,
by
right?
the end of the second one, I still should probably repeat again.
Do you know about the Alka-Seltzer
I
thing
don't.
too?
What is
All
it?
of this is marketing, right? So rinse, wash, repeat on your shampoo. It's just to get you to use twice as much shampoo,
Right.
buy twice as many bottles,
Yep.
whatever. Alka-Seltzer was one Alka-Seltzer in the thing, and then the brilliant woman who was a pioneer in advertising came up with the
Plop,
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 plop, fizz,
fizz, fizz.
fizz, so that people would use two and use twice as much Alka-Seltzer.
Whoa.
There you go.
I'm so much smarter now.
Boom. Boom.
Did you
And
answer my
about
question?
again about important things.
Did you answer my
After.
question?
I floss after
After.
because that's how I was taught.
Yeah, but then you've got like flecks of food in your mouth. Don't you just want to brush it?
You floss them out of your mouth.
Right,
How are
but
you
then, like-
maybe you're flossing wrong.
I probably am.
I mean, I
do
rinse
most things
afterward.
incorrectly. Okay, so do you
But-
mouthwash it? So brush, floss, mouthwash.
Yeah, then yeah.
Wow, your mouth is.
And not as
I'm
much
gonna
as
not
you
finish.
apparently.
I'm
I
gonna
don't.
not finish that sentence.
I don't brush twice in a session.
Well, you know what? Some of us care about our dental health.
I understand.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yeah. Is this a debate I'm unaware of?
Yes.
Okay, I don't
Probably
spend
the
enough
biggest debate on the
Time
internet
on the
right
internet,
now.
apparently. I mean, I'm a good interneter. Wasn't aware of this.
Yeah, this is a thing. So if someone said, I'm going to go get some sandwiches, and they came back with hot dogs, you'd be like, that's fine. That's what I was expecting. Yes.
I can't say it's come up so often. This is like a big problem.
You don't have that guy in your office who's like, I'm going to go get sandwiches, and then shows up with hot dogs, and you're like, oh, Dave did that Dave thing again.
Is this something that like continually?
It plagues my life. I think about this a lot.
When someone says I'm going to get sandwiches, I say I would like a turkey and Swiss with spicy mustard. That's what I say.
Okay. Okay, if someone said
'Cause I don't
catering
want
today is
someone-
sandwiches.
Right. I don't want someone to bring me a random sandwich.
Well, okay, but catering today is sandwiches, and you walk up to the
Much
table and
more
there's a
important.
bunch of fucking hot dogs.
Right.
Do you go, what is this? Or are you like, these are sandwiches? What are your thoughts?
Again, hasn't really come up as a
you sure?
guiding. Of all the things I get worked up about,
Yeah. This is
this
great.
goes into what we were
This is
talking
so
about
great.
before the show.
Yeah, you're
What's
right.
important and what's not.
Yeah, your kids help you keep that in
Exactly.
perspective, that hot dogs are sandwiches. Okay, we're on number 9, so there's only 2 more, and then I'm pretty sure you have to go because I've kept you here for so
Yeah.
long. What are you being for Halloween this year?
Well, okay, so I have young kids now.
Yeah.
And it's all about, so this is the line. Halloween, I really
twins?
think, I do.
Okay,
I have
so I
toddler
thought.
twins. Halloween, I really think, is a line of demarcation between parents and non-parents, right?
Okay.
Because before you have kids, it's all about what are you
Getting
going to be
drunk.
for
Oh.
Halloween. Right. I used to have like some pretty big Halloween parties, right?
Whoa.
Whatever. Like that. I like Halloween. It's big
Yeah.
fun, right? I mean, I don't have Easter parties. Like that's the, right?
Easter sucks.
Halloween is like a good thing to have a party for. Right. Okay. Once you have kids, it becomes all about
Them.
what are they going to be for
Ugh.
Halloween? And you realize, well, that's better because then I don't have to,
That's true.
right? And you can still drink.
And they can't really make decisions, so you can kind of like tell them what they're going to be and
That
make them
I'm
look
still-
ridiculously
right,
cute.
Right. So my kids are young enough. I am still at that phase.
Okay, so
Where
what are
they
your-
are not making their own decisions yet.
What are
So,
your kids going to be for Halloween this year?
I mean, they're going to be. My kids like to. They're at that age where they're into like pretending stuff. So. One was really into pretending she was a butterfly recently, so she is
Okay.
going to be a butterfly, and the other one wants
great.
because once they're twins, and when the other one found out the one wanted to be a butterfly, she's like, well, then I want to be the flower. So there you go, they made a butterfly. and
That's
a flower.
really cute.
There you go. One year they were a ladybug and a bumblebee, whatever.
Oh,
I don't
it's a
dress
theme.
them alike. I just want to make that point.
Thank
Because
God.
people with creepy twins, well, whatever you do is your choice. But, right?
Mom shaming.
Right, exactly. Well, no, I do believe in that. But that for me,
your
my
journey
journey.
has taken you to
Okay,
not dress
can
your
we
kids
get
the
rid
same.
of, this is because I don't watch reality TV, can we get rid of my journey?
Yep.
Can we get rid of my truth?
My truth.
When did that become a thing? That is not okay. I'm just living my truth. Right?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Right?
I've never said that sentence
good.
in my life.
Can you work it into your next podcast?
I'll try.
Okay, good. I'll be listening,
Because
watching.
This is my truth.
one of those.
I don't have a podcast. Have you not figured that out yet?
Are you gonna have a next podcast?
I don't even have a first. Like, we're just here hanging out.
This is it. Right.
This is going to be the whole. No, this is
thing.
actually twice as long as garbage time is.
Right. So yeah, there you go.
Okay. I'm going to be, I know you didn't ask.
I did. I want to know.
I'm going to be sexy Rob Ryan. So I'm just going to be Rob Ryan.
I was gonna say,
that is just
then
sexy
I'm just gonna be Rob Ryan.
in and of itself.
Right.
You're about to be put to death.
Okay.
How do you feel? What's your final meal? You have to pick an entree, dessert, and beverage.
I mean, I like a lot of
Well,
stuff.
fucking pick 3 things, Rachel.
Right. Beverage. Alcoholic. Right.
Whatever you. I said Drano. Because if I'm going out, I'm going out on my own fucking terms.
You're the one who would let go if you were like,
Yeah.
you're not even waiting for
Told
the
you.
rescue boat.
I know where this is going. I'm bailing.
Right.
I'm out.
Right.
Drano.
Drano. Boom. I don't know. You know, I'm not
What's your
picky.
favorite right now? What do you want to eat for food?
For food, it's lunchtime.
A sandwich?
Hamburger.
I can get you a hot dog?
Is a sandwich a hamburger? I mean, is a hamburger?
Is a sandwich a hamburger?
Is a hamburger a sandwich?
Yes.
Yes, but
But
a hot dog is
not.
not. I'm learning things.
A hamburger patty
I'm learning
isn't
from
a sandwich.
you.
Yeah, which is a bad idea.
Boom.
That's going to take you nowhere but down.
Who doesn't like a good burger? I like a good burger.
Burgers are good.
Yeah.
And so to drink, you would have what's your drink? What's your
I
go-to
like
drink?
beer. I like wine. I like vodka soda.
Cool.
Right?
So you're a human. Those are all
Right?
things
I was
humans
gonna say.
like. Like, what's a beer that when you see a bar has it, you're like, yes!
It's not right. I like Blue Moon, but not jumping up and down. Are you?
No, not about, certainly
Really
not about Blue Moon.
right? Okay.
But like,
I like Amstel Light.
we shouldn't let you keep
I
going
know,
down this
boom.
road.
High Life, Miller High Life.
That's good. How about like a Colt 45? No.
Not often.
Are you an old English girl?
Right, exactly. Old E.
Now name a dessert. He won't let this go until you.
Ice cream.
Wow, Rachel.
Right. What would you say?
I've done this already.
Okay,
so
so-
Drano was my drink, and if I wasn't allowed to have that, it was a bullet rye Manhattan.
Okay, but now you're trying to be like all cute.
No, I'm not.
About,
That's what I drank.
Right. Okay.
That's what I. So okay, a Bud Coors Light. Actually, if I had to take a boring beer,
I know.
Coors
Right.
Light.
Okay.
Then I would have the dinner. I actually don't remember. I think I said pizza with pasta on it. I've seen that before.
Okay.
It's really like a stuffed slice with pasta, so it's like
Right.
mac and cheese, but it's also
Is
pizza.
this like in Philly where they do the cheesesteak on a pizza
I
in a
think so,
cheesesteak or
but that's
something?
weird.
Right.
Mine's cool.
Right.
That's weird.
Right.
And then my dessert would be, and it wasn't a popular answer, would be a trifle. And a lot of people were like, "What's a trifle?" And it's like layers of cake and pudding and ganache and Cool Whip. There's a whole lot of stuff in a trifle.
My friend Rob wants to invent a chicken salad sandwich salad sandwich.
I
So it
got
would be
lost.
little pieces of chicken salad. Take a chicken salad sandwich,
Yeah.
right? Cut it into little pieces.
Yeah.
Make that a salad with that as the,
Yeah.
and then fold that into a sandwich.
That is so many inceptions that I don't know what.
Right?
Okay.
Could be good.
We should Kickstarter that.
Right.
That's where our money should be going.
Yeah.
Towards the development of whatever you just described.
There you go.
But the overarching question, is that a sandwich?
Right, exactly. If somebody said, I'm going to get sandwiches, and they came
brought
back
you
with that, how would
How do
you feel?
Rachel Nichols, I love you. Is it too soon? Thank you so much for coming here and doing this
Katie,
stupid thing.
everybody follow all of Katie's stuff.
And your
in
stuff.
ad infinitum.
At Rachel Nichols? Is there an underscore?
There are so many underscores.
Is it at
There's two
underscore Rachel
undersc-
underscore
no,
Nichols
it's
underscore?
Rachel underscore Nichols because there is one person in California who has taken all the other ones.
Is it because there's a famous actress named Rachel Nichols?
It's not her. There's somebody
Does that
else.
screw up your Google juice too? Like when you Google your name, it's like not necessarily you.
Oh, that's one of the. If I can impart, there's two pieces of advice I give to when the whatever. Don't ever Google yourself.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Right?
not a good idea.
So there you go.
Right.
That's one. So yeah,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
And no is a complete sentence. That's what when people say, "What do you tell young women in the business?" That's the thing I say.
No is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
Because we sometimes feel the need to justify why we're saying no.
Right. There's a period at the end. You're good.
No. No. Well, there could be an exclamation point at the
They're
end.
good. No. What other things? Parentheses.
Yep. No, you couldn't.
Semicolon.
Let me explain to you how parentheses work. I don't have time, but like maybe on the next podcast, when
right.
we're not canceled.
That's right.
Was I in the middle of a thought? Because I lost it. We were saying goodbye. I don't want to say goodbye. Thank you. Honestly, this was probably the
nice.
weirdest thing, and you're like, why am I here? But I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
fun.
You're
Good
great.
stuff.
You're so great. I'm gonna tell people we're friends.
Yay.
We're friends.
It's not
Bye.
a fake internet friendship.
Bye, audio people. Can we do some fun noises for the audio people? Woo, 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 woo. That'd be fun to listen to. Woo. Okay, so that was Rachel Nichols, who is amazing.
She was awesome.
Thank you again, Rachel, if you're listening. If you're not, then screw you. All right, now it's time for junk mail.
You've got junk mail.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So wait, just real quick, if people don't know, junk mail is a thing we used to do where I would take questions from people on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and I would answer them, and they're usually pretty crazy, weird questions. But we're gonna do one junk mail question per podcast, so you can send those to me at Katie Nolan. You can send them to at Garbage Time. You can send them to your mother in a text, and then she could do those things. Whatever, any
Yeah.
way you want to get them. Do we have snail mail somewhere? Would maybe get lost in this office, but. Wherever you want to send them, you should send them, and then we'll pick one and answer it. So, Dave, what's this week's junk mail question?
All right. Dennis D. Hom asks, in the year of the backup in the NFL, which backup would you call to duty if you were sick?
Ooh, okay. First of all, hashtag year of the backup. It's catching on.
Yeah.
I'm trying so hard to make that catch on, and it is because Dennis said it.
Yes.
That's how you know you're in. Dennis said it.
D. Hom?
If I were sick, I think I'd call in producer Garrett.
Ah,
Because that
Wow.
you're my backup here. You're my McCown. You're the McCown of this team, and I mean that as a compliment, Garrett.
thank you.
Because Garrett finds a way to get into the show every goddamn week.
Really? We haven't noticed that.
Yeah. So I think he's ready.
See, I think that's a great answer.
Yeah, thank you.
When I read this, I thought he was wanting to know, like, which NFL backup quarterback would you want to come in and host Garbage Time if you were sick?
Oh, let me reread the.
I
yeah,
love
I
you,
can
producer Garrett, but it's like I was like, all right, which NFL backup quarterback would make the best fill-in host of Garbage Time?
Okay, I could see why we interpreted that differently.
Yeah.
And I actually don't know what he meant, so let's answer it both ways. So the number one answer was producer Garrett,
Fine,
but if
yeah.
I now have to pick a backup quarterback,
I think it's an obvious answer. I think there's a few options, but
is it
one
gonna,
is
are you
super
going to say
obvious.
Manziel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
What's yours?
Robert Griffin. The third.
Oh.
Well, see, no, we didn't say which third string
Oh.
quarterback.
Oh.
I don't even think he's
Whoa.
allowed to wear a jersey on the sidelines anymore. Like, I don't think he dresses.
So he could actually do it.
He's got the time.
He could actually
That's for
fill in
damn
for you,
sure.
and he would take it very seriously.
What about Garoppolo?
Oh, I can't believe
I'll
you
take
said that.
some
Oh, wow.
Garoppolo because, well, I mean, I don't even know what team he plays for. No, but first of all, he's got time because he's never going to play. And also, easy on the eyes.
Oh, you're thinking as a TV.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty.
person,
I
man.
like to objectify men on this sports podcast because there isn't enough of that in sports media. Like, let's talk about hot guys. You guys still there? No? Everyone tuned out? Great.
Get him back.
Anybody else you think would be a good one, Garrett? Who'd you say?
Who's my backup for Robert?
Yeah,
who's your
Robert
backup
Griffin
to
III
RG3?
is not going to host this show.
Matt Hasselbeck is
true.
pretty dynamic.
Well, that's
I mean-
sort of like letting Regis host a show. Like an old dude. He wouldn't really appeal to the young.
See, I think of that as like Tim Hasselbeck's already on TV a lot.
Great point.
It's sort of like Mark Wahlberg.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck also on the.
Yes, it's in the family.
You toss Donnie Wahlberg in there. He might not be Mark Wahlberg, but he's damn good.
But then think about the Baldwins.
Oh.
Like a bunch of them did try, but there's only one Alec.
I would take a Baldwin over a lot of actors.
Not Billy.
I'd take the bottom Baldwin
You
over.
would not the bottom Baldwin.
I would take Billy Baldwin over 80% of Hollywood.
You are not being serious.
I,
You are.
for the first time today, I'm being serious.
Junk mail.
Okay, guys, so that's it for our first podcast ever.
Yeah.
We did a really good job. And it's only going to get better from here because now that we've done it once, we'll do it twice and then 3 times and then the 4th time. I'll explain to you later how it works.
Definitely
Karen,
twice, though.
Yeah, definitely 2 times. We'll be back next Thursday. Thank you guys for listening and giving us a shot. Huge thanks to Rachel Nichols for being my first ever guest. That was actually really, really cool of her. Find her on Twitter, follow her there. Find her on CNN, follow her there. She's amazing and thinks a hot dog is a sandwich. So disappointing.
I don't get it.
And also be sure to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, rate it, leave a comment, but only if those things are in a positive nature, please. Otherwise, maybe just wait a week and then rate it. Or listen to us on SoundCloud or any other podcast app in the world. Or invent a podcast app and then we will put do what you want, guys. Listen to us any way you want. Any way you want.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Why aren't you as supportive of them?
No,
as
I
am?
agree, 100%.
Cool. So thank you guys. Thank you, producer Garrett, and
Yeah.
producer Dave, and
you.
producer
Thanks for having us.
Kirk, who didn't speak, for the best. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Bye.